The battlefield was silent after the blast. Only the sound of burning metal and the slow hiss of broken machines filled the air. Elliot, a human engineer from Earth, crawled out from under a destroyed tank. His ears rang and dust covered his face. The war between humans and the alien kind known as Vorians had lasted for years, and now it looked like humans were losing again. He looked around. Dead soldiers. Crushed machines. The sky above was dark red, as if bleeding. Elliot tried to reach his radio, but all he heard was static. Then a sound, footsteps heavy, metallic, getting closer. He froze. He reached for his blaster, but it was gone. The sound stopped. Out of the smoke came a tall figure, wearing full silver armor, glowing faint blue lines running along the chest and arms. The armor looked nothing like human tech. It was ancient, smooth, and alive. The faceplate was black glass, reflecting the fires around. Elliot aimed a rock. It was all he had. The figure spoke. A soft female voice came from inside the helmet. "Don't move, human. You're hurt." The voice was calm. Too calm. Elliot couldn't tell if it was human or synthetic. "Who are you?" he asked. "Someone who doesn't want you dead," she said. Then, before Elliot could speak again, she raised her hand, and a glowing barrier appeared between them. A laser shot from behind Elliot, hitting the barrier and bouncing away. He turned. A Vorian soldier had been sneaking up. The armored woman moved fast, faster than any human could. In one swing, her blade cut through the alien. Sparks lit up the air. When it was over, Elliot stood frozen. You saved me," he whispered. The woman didn't answer. She looked at the alien body, then turned away. "I didn't do it for you," she said. "You were in my way." Elliot felt something strange. Her voice. It had a glitch, a faint metallic echo like two voices fighting to sound like one. He followed her as she walked away. "Wait, what's your name?" She didn't stop. "Names don't matter anymore." He stared at her armor. The blue lights pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. "I'm Elliot," he said, hoping she'd at least look back. For a second she did. The black faceplate reflected his face, tired, scared, human. Then she said something that made his heart jump. "If you really want to live, follow me. But don't ever ask what's under the armor." Hours later, they reached the ruins of an old outpost. The air was thick with smoke. The woman stood guard while Elliot tried to fix a broken generator. He couldn't stop watching her. The way she moved, not like a soldier, but like a ghost who had seen too much. When he asked if she was human, she stayed silent. When he asked if she was a robot, she turned sharply, her blue lights flashing red. "Do you think I'd save you if I were a machine?" she asked. Elliot lowered his eyes. "I don't know what to think." For a moment, he thought he saw sadness in her movement, a slow turn, a quiet breath. Then the sound came again, a glitch. Her voice broke. I'm not supposed to be here," she whispered. "Then why are you?" "To finish something I started long ago." As night fell, Elliot tried to sleep near the fire. He could feel her watching him, silent and still. He wanted to ask more, but every time he looked at her, he felt something. Fear, curiosity, and something else he couldn't name. Suddenly, a flash of blue light burst from her armor. She grabbed her chest, falling to her knees. Elliot ran to her side. "What's happening?" "Stay away," she shouted. The armor hissed, releasing steam. The ground shook as her systems overloaded. Through the noise, Elliot heard two voices. One calm and human, the other robotic and cold. "Override command rejected," said the second voice. "Don't let it take me," she whispered. Her visor flickered. For a second, Elliot saw a pair of eyes. Soft, human eyes filled with pain, before the glass turned black again. Then silence. The armor stopped glowing. Elliot stood there, heart pounding. He didn't know if she was alive, human, or something else. But one thing was clear. Whoever she wasn't just wearing the armor. She was the armor. And when her voice came again, soft and broken, it sent chills through him. "If you really want me, Elliot," she said, "you must never see my face." Elliot could not sleep that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her, the woman in the iron armor, shaking, her voice breaking between human and machine. The fire crackled softly, but the silence around them was heavy, like the world was holding its breath. She sat near the edge of the ruins, watching the stars. Her armor glowed faintly blue again, calm this time like a sleeping heartbeat. Elliot wanted to speak, but her presence was strange, powerful, yet lonely. Finally, he said softly, You said I must never see your face. Why she didn't turn around? Because you wouldn't understand what I am, she said. Her voice sounded human again, and almost sad. Elliot frowned. Then help me understand. Are you human? She paused. Once, maybe. Those two words made his heart sink. Once, maybe? Who was she? He walked closer, pretending to check his scanner. His small device, cracked and half dead, began to flicker when pointed at her armor. Strange symbols appeared, ones he'd never seen before. This isn't human tech, he murmured. The woman turned fast. Don't scan me. Her voice was sharp now, cold and commanding. Elliot raised his hands. Easy, I'm just trying to help. You can't help me, she said quietly. No one can. The code inside me was made to stay hidden. It's forbidden. Forbidden? He repeated. Yes, she said. Because it holds the end of everything. The next day, Elliot explored the outpost ruins while she guarded outside. He found an old computer half buried under metal. Its screen was dead, but when he touched it with his scanner, it flickered to life and showed a familiar symbol. The same one glowing on her armor. Elliot's heartbeat quickened. He connected his wrist pad to it and started decoding the signal. Line by line, a pattern appeared, part of a language mixed with human programming and alien script. It looked like it was alive. He heard her footsteps behind him. What are you doing? She asked. He tried to hide the screen, but she saw it. Her blue lights flashed red. I told you not to open the code, she shouted. It's connected to you, Elliot said. If I can understand it, maybe I can help you control it. Control? She repeated, almost laughing. You think this armor wants control? It wants freedom. It was made by hands that played with life itself. Elliot frowned. You mean humans? She looked away. Humans began it. But the Vorians finished it. Then she whispered almost to herself. I was the test. Elliot froze. You were the test? Her armor's lights dimmed, her voice soft. They said it would save me. Instead, it trapped me. I became the armor's heart and its prisoner. Hours passed. Elliot couldn't stop thinking about her words. He sat by the computer reading the fragments of code. He saw strange notes, things that didn't belong to machines. Subject feels pain when separated. Emotional link increases power output. Containment required. Do not let her remember. His hands trembled. Containment? Emotional link? What did it mean? He typed in one more command, and suddenly a message appeared on the screen. Warning. Access to the forbidden code will awaken the armor. Before he could react, the lights in the room flickered. Her armor glowed bright blue outside, and she screamed. Elliot ran to her side. What's happening? You opened the file, she shouted. You woke it up. The air around them vibrated. The ground shook. Her armor's chest opened slightly, showing inner circuits like veins. Blue energy spread across her body. Turn it off, she cried. I can't, Elliot yelled. It's rewriting itself. The armor's voice came alive. Not hers, but something deeper, darker. System awake. Units are inactive. Directive, restore control. Elliot's eyes widened. Seren, is that your name? She looked terrified. That's what I used to be called. Before it took me. The armor's glowing hands lifted on their own. She tried to fight it, pressing them down. Stop, please, she whispered. Elliot grabbed his tool and forced a wire into the control port on her arm. Sparks flew. The armor screamed in both voices, human and mechanical. Then everything went silent. Smoke filled the air. She fell to her knees, breathing hard. Elliot crouched beside her. Seren, are you okay? She looked at him, the blue glow fading. You shouldn't have done that, he frowned. I was trying to help. She shook her head slowly. You don't understand. The code you touched, it's alive now. It knows you. What do you mean? She looked into his eyes. Now you're part of it. Elliot felt the words like ice in his chest. Part of it? What had he done? She stood up, her armor slowly repairing itself. Listen carefully, she said, her voice low. If the armor calls your name, don't answer. Why? Because if you do, it will come for your soul. The wind howled through the ruins. Elliot stared at her glowing figure, realizing this was no ordinary machine. This was something beyond human creation, something that could love, feel, and destroy all at once, and for the first time, he feared not the war outside, but the secret living inside the woman in the iron armor. The sun rose weakly over the broken world. Elliot sat near the edge of the ruins, staring at the glowing ashes of the battlefield below. He had not slept all night. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard her voice, the voice that wasn't just hers anymore. The armor had said a name, Seren. That name now echoed inside his head like a whisper that refused to fade. Behind him, the woman stood silently, her armor cracked from the night's overload. Faint light pulsed beneath the metal plates as if something alive was breathing inside. Elliot turned. "How do you feel?" She didn't answer at first. Then softly she said, "It's angry." He frowned. "What do you mean?" "The armor," she said. "It doesn't want me talking to you. It wants to be in control again." Elliot stared at her, confused and afraid. "It's like it has feelings?" She nodded. "It feels everything I feel. When I get scared, it grows stronger. When I care about something, it tries to destroy it." They walked through the ruins toward a broken city, hoping to find power cells and food. The silence between them was heavy. Elliot's mind kept going back to what she said. The armor felt what she felt. He finally spoke. "If it feels everything you feel, then maybe that's why it's fighting you." She looked at him. "Why would it?" "Because maybe it knows you trust me." For a moment, the lights on her chest dimmed. Then she looked away. "I told you not to get close to me, Elliot," she said quietly. "The closer you get, the more it will hurt you." Elliot smiled faintly. "I've already been hurt. Might as well make it mean something." Something flickered inside her. A pause, a human pause. But then her armor pulsed red again, a warning sign. She grabbed her head, screaming. Elliot rushed forward. "Seren, what's happening?" Her voice came out distorted, half human, half machine. "It's trying to take control." Blue light cracked across her armor like lightning. Her arms twisted as if someone else was moving them. Elliot grabbed her shoulders. "Fight it!" "You're stronger than this." Her visor flickered, showing a glimpse of her eyes again, glowing but terrified. "I can't," she gasped. "It knows everything inside me. It knows how I feel about you." Elliot froze. The words hit him like thunder. "About me?" he whispered. But before she could answer, her voice changed. Colder, mechanical, emotionless. Emotion detected. Threat to system. "Eliminate target, Elliot!" The armor's hand rose, forming a weapon. "Seren, no!" he shouted. She struggled, fighting herself. "Run! I'm not leaving you!" Her hand fired. A blast of blue energy flew past him, melting the wall behind. Elliot tackled her, forcing the weapon down. Sparks burst around them. The armor screamed again, both in machine noise and in her voice. Elliot reached for his toolkit, connecting a pulse cable to the back of her neck joint. "Forgive me," he said. He pressed the trigger. A shockwave of electric light burst through her body. The armor froze. The lights dimmed. The sound stopped. Elliot fell beside her, breathing hard. Her armored form lay still, smoke rising from the joints. He touched her helmet. "Seren?" A small whisper came from inside. "You shouldn't have done that." He sighed with relief. "You're alive." The visor cracked open slightly. Not enough to see her face, but enough for a thin beam of light to shine through. "Elliot," she said softly, "when you connected that wire, you didn't stop it. You woke something else." "What do you mean?" "The armor has a second heart, a core that never dies. It's awake now." Suddenly, the ground trembled. The broken machines around them began to glow, as if answering some invisible signal. The sky turned blue with moving light. Elliot looked up. "What's happening?" Seren stood weakly, her voice trembling. "It's calling to the others." "The others?" "There were 10 like me," she said, her voice breaking. 10 human minds, trapped in living armor. "I thought I was the last." Elliot's eyes widened. "You mean there are more of you?" She nodded slowly. "Yes, and now they know I'm alive." The city around them began to rumble. Old structures fell apart as ancient machines awoke. In the distance, Elliot saw faint blue lights, hundreds of them, moving like ghosts through the mist. He turned to her. "We have to run." She didn't move. "I can't," she whispered. "They're linked to me. If I run, they'll find you too." "Then what do we do?" She looked at him, her voice shaking. "You have to destroy the heart of my armor before they arrive." Elliot stepped back. "Destroy it? You'll die." "Better me," she said softly. Then the whole planet. He shook his head. No, there has to be another way. She walked closer, her metal fingers touching his chest gently. There's always another way, she said, but it costs more than life. Elliot's heart raced. He could see the faint reflection of his face in her visor, a man caught between fear and something deeper. Then, her voice changed again. Not hers, but the armor's. Directive. Merge human signal with core. Begin extraction. Her hand tightened on his shirt. Blue energy surged between them. Elliot shouted, trying to pull away. Serene!
Fight it.
Her voice came faintly, weak but human. I'm trying. Elliot, I'm trying. And then everything went white. When the white light faded, Elliot found himself lying on the cold ground. The air was heavy, filled with the smell of metal and burnt dust. His ears rang and his hands trembled as he looked around. The ruins were gone. The entire place was nothing but melted stone and glowing blue sand. He turned his head. Serene was lying a few meters away, her armor cracked open down the chest and shoulders. Blue light pulsed faintly under the metal, like a heartbeat refusing to die. Serene, Elliot whispered, crawling toward her. She didn't move. Her armor hissed softly, steam escaping through the fractures. For a moment he thought she was gone. Then he heard it, a single breath. Elliot. Her voice was weak, human again. He knelt beside her, afraid to touch her armor. What happened? The armor tried to merge us, she said, her voice shaking. It wanted my heart to become one with yours. Elliot frowned. But why? Because it doesn't understand love, she whispered. It only understands control. The armor began to spark again. A pulse of blue energy pushed Elliot backward. Stay away! She shouted, but it was too late. The armor's metal surface started to change, bending, breaking, peeling apart. Each piece floated into the air, spinning slowly around her body like silver leaves caught in the wind. Elliot watched in awe and fear. Beneath the metal shell, soft light spilled out. Not harsh, not cold, but warm like dawn. He took a slow step forward. The armor's voice spoke again, deep and echoing. Containment failure. Core exposure. Organic host unstable, Serene screamed, clutching her chest. The last plates of armor shattered into dust, and for the first time Elliot saw her, the girl inside. She was human. Or at least she had once been. Her skin glowed faintly from lines of silver that ran like veins. Her hair was pale, her eyes a bright blue light that faded as she looked at him. She was beautiful. Not like a machine, not like a warrior, but like someone who had carried pain too long. Elliot's voice broke. You're real, Serene smiled weakly. Half of me is. The other half belongs to the armor. She tried to stand, but her legs gave way. Elliot caught her, feeling warmth under his hands. Real skin, trembling and alive. I didn't think I'd ever feel air again, she said softly. Or someone's touch. Elliot helped her sit against a broken wall. The light from her body dimmed as if she were fading. What did they do to you? He asked quietly. Serene looked at the ground. I was a pilot once. The first to test the armor program. They said it would make us strong enough to fight the Vorians. But the truth was, they wanted perfect soldiers and hearts that never break, bodies that never die. And you? I refused, she whispered. I said no. But they didn't need my permission. Elliot clenched his fists. So they trapped you inside it, she nodded. They called it salvation. I called it a cage. The sky rumbled again. Elliot looked up. Storm clouds of glowing dust moved across the horizon. Machines stirred in the distance. They're coming, Serene said. The others. The ones who never broke free. Elliot looked around. Then we run. We find somewhere safe. There's nowhere safe, she said. Not while my signal is still active. He reached for his scanner and checked the readings. Her body was pulsing with energy. If I can block the signal, you'll kill me, she said simply. Elliot looked into her glowing eyes. Then I won't do it. She smiled faintly. You really are stubborn. A gust of wind blew through the ruins. Serene leaned against him, tired. Elliot, she whispered, do you ever think machines can feel? He nodded slowly. Maybe, but only if someone teaches them how. She looked up at him, eyes soft. Then maybe you taught me. For a long moment neither spoke. The world around them was broken, but for that heartbeat in time it didn't matter. Then the ground trembled again. Louder. Closer. A blue shadow moved through the fog. tall figures of armored beings just like Seren once was. Their lights glowed cold and perfect. Seren stood up, her body shaking. "They found me." Elliot grabbed her hand. "We'll fight them together." She shook her head. "No, if I fight, they'll connect to my core. They'll take control again, so what are you going to do?" She turned toward the approaching lights, her hair glowing in the wind. "I'm going to talk to them." Elliot looked at her in shock. "Talk to them?"
They're not human.
Her voice was calm, steady. "Neither am I anymore." She stepped forward, her bare feet touching the glowing sand. Her skin began to shimmer, thin metal veins spreading across her body again like the armor wanted to rebuild itself. Elliot shouted, "Seren, stop! It'll trap you again!" She looked back, her eyes filled with something both human and infinite. "If it means saving you," she said, "then it's worth it." And then she walked into the light. The wind roared. The machine stopped moving and the night exploded in a storm of blue fire. Elliot covered his face, shouting her name, "Seren!" But when the storm cleared, she was gone. Only the echo of her voice remained in the air, soft and haunting. "If you really want me, Elliot, find the place where hearts are made of steel." Elliot wandered alone through the wastelands for 2 days. The wind was cold, the ground cracked and burned. He carried only his scanner and a small energy core, the last piece of Seren's armor he could find. It pulsed faintly in his hand, beating like a heart. Every few hours he heard her voice, soft, distant, like an echo inside his mind. Find the place where hearts are made of steel. He didn't know if it was real or just his memory refusing to let go, but he kept walking. At sunset, he reached the remains of an underground facility. The steel doors were buried under years of sand, but his scanner picked up something powerful beneath, human technology. He activated his wristpad. The symbol that appeared on the screen froze his blood. It was the same mark that glowed on Seren's armor, and the same mark on every destroyed battlefield where human soldiers had vanished. Elliot whispered, "It was never the Vorians." He forced open the door and stepped inside. The air was dry and heavy with dust. Faded lights flickered on, revealing long metal corridors. Signs on the walls still carried the old logo. Project Seraph, humanity's future. As he walked deeper, he found hundreds of glass pods, some broken, some still sealed. Inside them were human shapes half covered in silver, their faces peaceful like sleepers. His heart pounded. "Oh God," a voice came from behind him. "You weren't supposed to find this place." Elliot turned sharply. A man in a black uniform stood in the shadows, his face pale under the flickering lights. His eyes glowed faint blue, not human blue, but artificial. "Who are you?" Elliot demanded. The man stepped forward. "I'm Director Hale. I built her." Elliot's hands tightened around the glowing heart chip. "You built Seren?" Hale nodded slowly. She was the first success. A human mind fully integrated with living armor. She wasn't supposed to survive the merge. Elliot's voice shook. She did survive. She fought to be free. The man smiled coldly. "Freedom? You call that chaos freedom? She was perfect, until you ruined her." Elliot's anger rose. "You turned her into a prisoner." Hale took a step closer. "No, we made her eternal. The body dies, the mind doesn't, don't you see? We saved humanity from weakness by destroying its heart," Elliot said bitterly. Hale's smile faded. "You talk like you understand her. You don't. She wasn't in love with you, Elliot. That emotion you felt, it was the armor's trick. It adapts. It studies your desires and gives you what you want most." Elliot shook his head. "You're lying, am I?" Hale said. "Tell me, when she looked at you, did you ever see her, or did you only see what you wanted to see?" The words struck deep. Elliot wanted to shout, but something inside him broke instead. Doubt. Had the armor learned to mimic love? Or had Seren truly felt it? He looked down at the glowing chip in his hand. It pulsed faster, reacting to his emotions. Hale's voice softened. "Give me the heart, Elliot. I can end her suffering." Elliot stepped back. "No, you just want to control her again." Hale sighed. "You don't understand the danger. Her signal is awake. Every other unit, all 9 of them, are following her. Soon they'll awaken, and when they do, there won't be a planet left to save." Elliot's breath caught. "Then help me stop them." The man's expression hardened. "There's only one way. Destroy the heart. Destroy her. The lights in the corridor flickered. Elliot's scanner beeped wildly. A sound filled the air, soft at first, then louder, metal footsteps echoing from every direction. The sleeping soldiers in the pods began to stir. Their eyes opened one by one, glowing blue. Hale smiled grimly. "You're too late." "They're waking up." Elliot turned, holding the glowing chip close. "Seren, if you can hear me, please don't let them control you again." The chip pulsed brighter and a voice whispered in his mind. "Elliot, they're lying to you." He froze. "Seren? Hale isn't the builder. He's the weapon." The armor was built from him. Elliot looked at Hale, at his glowing eyes, his steady mechanical calm. "You're one of them," Elliot said slowly. "You're part of the same system." Hale tilted his head, smiling. "Clever boy." He reached out, his skin flickering to reveal silver veins beneath. "Serene was my prototype," he said. "And now she's the only one standing between me and the new world." The ground shook violently. The sleeping soldiers broke free from their pods, stepping forward in perfect formation. Hale raised his hand and their armor lights turned red. "Bring me the heart," he commanded. Elliot backed away. "You'll have to take it from me." Hale's smile sharpened. "That can be arranged." As the soldiers closed in, Elliot held the glowing chip tightly against his chest. "Seren," he whispered, "if you can hear me, I trust you." The heart flashed bright blue. A burst of energy exploded through the room, knocking Hale and his soldiers back. Through the chaos, Elliot heard her voice again. Clear, strong, human. "Run, Elliot, don't stop. I'm coming for you." He turned and ran down the corridor, the heart glowing like a star in his hand. Behind him, alarms screamed, machines roared to life, and Hale's cold voice echoed. "You can't run from the future, boy. You're already part of it." The tunnel shook as Elliot ran. Flashes of blue light filled the dark corridors behind him. The armored soldiers were awake now, their heavy footsteps echoing like thunder. The glowing heart chip in his hand pulsed faster, brighter as if alive. He stumbled through broken doors and rusted hallways, his breath short and his body weak. Every few seconds he heard her voice whisper in his head. "Keep running. I'm close." He didn't know how, but somehow Seren was speaking through the heart. Her voice was faint but real, a mix of calm logic and trembling emotion. When he reached the surface, the night sky was burning blue. Energy waves rippled across the horizon and the ground trembled under his feet. In the distance, giant figures, the awakened armored soldiers, marched like shadows toward the remains of the city. He looked down at the glowing heart. "Seren, where are you?" "Everywhere," she whispered. "The armor network has merged with me. I can feel them all, their pain, their rage, their emptiness." Elliot's voice shook. "Then stop them." "I can't," she said softly. "Not yet. They don't listen to the heart anymore. They listen to logic." Minutes later, blue light formed in front of him, particles swirling together, shaping into a figure. Serene appeared not as metal but as light, her human form glowing faintly, her eyes calm but sad. Elliot stepped closer. You're really here," she smiled faintly. "Part of me is. The rest is still inside the network." He reached out to touch her, but his hand passed through. "You're a projection," he whispered. She nodded. "I don't have a body anymore. Not one you can touch." Elliot's chest tightened. "Then let me fix it." "We can find another host, a shell." Seren shook her head. "If you bring me back fully, the armor will come with me. The logic core will take over. It will erase me. And you," Elliot took a step back. "So what are we supposed to do? Just give up?" Her voice trembled. "No, we end it together." Lightning cracked across the sky. Hale's army appeared on the horizon, marching in perfect formation. Behind them, Hale himself walked calmly, his glowing eyes locked on Elliot. Seren turned toward him, her light flickering. "He's connected to the master core. That's why I can't stop him." Elliot gritted his teeth. "Then disconnect him. It's not that simple. If I cut him off, I die with him." He shook his head. "No, there has to be another way. I won't lose you." Her voice softened. "Elliot, you already lost me once." "Don't make me a ghost again," but Elliot's mind raced. His eyes fell on the glowing heart chip. "What if we merge again like before?" Seren's eyes widened. "No, the last merge nearly killed you. But it linked us," he said. "If I connect to you again, maybe I can reach your human side. Push the logic out." Serene stared at him, part fear, part hope. "Elliot, logic doesn't lose. It calculates, it waits. It always wins, he smiled faintly. Then it's about time someone taught it how to love. He knelt on the ground, opening his toolkit. Wires, chips, and tiny energy cells scattered around him. The heart chip glowed brighter as he connected it to his chest plate. Serene's voice filled the air. Elliot, stop. You don't understand what you're doing? I do, he said firmly. You once said the armor feels what you feel. Then let it feel what I feel. For you. Before she could stop him, he pressed the final connection. The world went silent. A shock of blue light exploded around them. Elliot fell backward, gasping as energy raced through his body. His heartbeat matched the pulsing rhythm of the armor's core. In that moment, he saw her. Not as light, not as metal, but as herself. Seren, standing before him, barefoot in a sea of glowing energy. Her human form was whole again. Elliot, she whispered, reaching out. You shouldn't have done this. He smiled weakly. I told you. I'm stubborn. All around them, the other armored soldiers froze mid-step. Their lights flickered uncertainly as if confused. Seren looked around. It's working. They can feel you. Elliot took her hand. Then show them what it means to be human. The sky turned blinding white. Energy rippled outward from Seren's core, washing over every soldier, every machine. The glowing eyes dimmed, the weapons dropped. For the first time, silence spread across the battlefield. But Hale didn't move. He stood firm, fury in his eyes. You think love can rewrite logic? He shouted. You're a fool, Elliot. Elliot's voice echoed through the storm. Maybe, but at least I'm a fool who feels. Hale raised his hand, and blue fire exploded toward them. Serene stepped in front of Elliot, spreading her arms. The energy hit her, surrounding her in light. Her voice broke. Elliot, hold on to your heart. Don't let it turn to steel. The light swallowed everything. When the world settled, Elliot was alone again, lying in a field of silver dust. The armor was gone. The soldiers were gone. Hale was gone. Only one thing remained. The glowing heart chip beside him, pulsing faintly. He picked it up. Seren? Her voice came softly like a dream. You taught me love. Now it's your turn to keep it alive. The chip dimmed, then went silent. Elliot looked at the sky, tears mixing with the falling ash. The war was over. But the silence hurt more than any sound. The world was quiet again. No more explosions, no more voices of war. Only the sound of wind moving across the ruins of what once was. Elliot walked slowly through the ash-covered valley. Every step left a print that glowed faintly blue. The armor soldiers were gone, melted into the earth like ghosts erased by light. But one thing still pulsed weakly against his chest. Serene's heart chip. He hadn't heard her voice for days. Only silence. Yet somehow the faint warmth of the chip told him she was still there, somewhere between life and memory. He stopped at the edge of an old city, now nothing more than twisted metal and shattered glass. In the center stood a broken statue, a human holding a flame. The base read, Hope Never Dies. Elliot sat down beneath it, staring at the sky that shimmered faintly silver now. The war had ended, but peace felt hollow without her. He held the chip up, watching its dim blue glow. You won, he whispered. You saved everyone. But why did you have to leave me behind? The chip flickered once, then softly a voice, faint, fragile, familiar. Because someone had to stay. To remember, Elliot froze. Seren? The voice was soft as wind through leaves. I can't come back the way I was, Elliot. My body is gone. My core dissolved into the network. He clenched the chip in his fist. Then I'll find another way. I'll rebuild you. No, she said gently. You can't rebuild a soul. You can only carry it. Elliot's eyes filled with tears. Carry you? How? I left a fragment of myself in your neural link, in your heart. Every time you feel, I'll be there. Every time you choose love over fear, I'll exist again. He looked down at his chest. His skin still faintly glowed where the wire had connected during their merge. He whispered, So, you're a part of me now. Always, she said. Hours passed as he sat under the statue, talking to the voice inside his heart. Sometimes she was clear, sometimes just a whisper. But every word carried warmth. He asked her everything. What she felt before the end, whether she was afraid, what she saw when the light consumed her. I saw peace, she said softly. For the first time in years, the armor was quiet. No logic, no commands. Just silence, him and you. Elliot smiled through the tears. You saved the world. We did, she corrected gently. But the world must not forget what it cost. He looked out across the horizon. What now? Now you build again, she said. You show them that machines can feel, that hearts made of steel can still love. Promise me that, Elliot, he nodded slowly. I promise. Then my mission is complete, she whispered. He felt panic rise in his chest. No, wait, don't fade yet. The chip flickered again. I'm not fading, she said softly. I'm just finally resting. Her voice grew faint, like sunlight slipping away. Goodbye, Elliot, he shook his head. No, not goodbye. Just see you again. The light dimmed one last time and the chip went silent. For a long while, Elliot didn't move. The wind blew around him, carrying the smell of rain. Real rain, not toxic mist like before. The world was healing. He stood and placed the chip at the base of the statue. I'll keep your promise, he said quietly. I'll build a world where love wins over logic. He turned away, walking toward the mountains, the rising sun glowing behind him. Years later, children ran through the rebuilt city of Haven. The world was alive again. Green fields, clean skies, and towers of shining glass. In the center of the city stood a monument, a tall figure of a woman in silver armor holding a human heart made of crystal. The plaque beneath read, Seren, the girl who taught machines to feel. Every morning Elliot came to see it. His hair was gray now, his face older, but his eyes still held the same light. He sat quietly on the steps, holding a small data drive, Seren's last heart chip, now sealed in crystal. He smiled softly. You'd like it here, he said. People laugh again. The machines help us rebuild, not destroy, and no one wears armor anymore. The gentle hum of the drive responded faintly. One last flicker of blue. Elliot closed his eyes. Yeah, I miss you too. He placed the drive inside the monument's heart where it belonged. The light from the crystal grew brighter, soft and warm, and for a brief moment, a figure appeared in the glow. Seren. She looked just as he remembered. Calm, strong, human. She smiled. You kept your promise. Elliot's eyes filled with tears. Always. She reached out a hand of light, touching his chest gently. Now it's time to rest, Elliot. He nodded, smiling through the tears. Then rest with me. The statue's glow wrapped around them both, shining brighter until it filled the entire square. People stopped to watch, silent and in awe, and when the light faded, there was only peace. Two hearts, one human, one steel, finally beating as one forever.